Right, good morning Nairobi, good morning sunshines. I am June Jenga, and my oh my do we have a show for you today. Everything from architecture to sex and religion to cars to what's trending on television. So grab your coffee, turn up your volume, because this is Sunrise Select. Right, so Nairobi City has become one of the fastest growing cities in Africa. This is due to the growing population and business in the city. This has created a need for residential spaces, office spaces, living spaces. So as we talk about this, let's have a look at our segment, Building Blocks of Nairobi City.
Life is just always mysterious and surprising. You never know what's around the next corner. You never know what's around the next corner.
I'm John Mbua. I'm the property caretaker of the building. The building started way back. The construction started way back in around 1995. And then the structural part of it was complete by around 2000. And then the occupancy, in fact the first tenant we had in the building occupied the building in the year 2001. The building is owned by the bank, and the color theme of the bank actually is blue. So the architecture, I think, he had blue in mind, and also the owners of the building and the bank had blue in mind. So that's why you see most of the buildings of I&M Bank properties are in blue. And I think one of the key things is that they wanted a building that is outstanding, actually being in the CBD, and not only being in the CBD, but being in a very busy streets of Nairobi. So they wanted something that is outstanding, something that is unique, something that will bring business, a building that will be a landmark when you're counting other buildings in the CBD. Basically, the building was made to be a commercial building, and from its structure and from its design, we also have the bank actually in the building, and the other space, that is the tower itself, was supposed to serve as a commercial part of it, rentals and such. I think one of the things that the architecture was considering was light materials to bring up the building, materials that are also unique. And when we come to maintenance part of it, I think they were considering materials that will not involve a lot of cost when it comes to maintenance. Land that when you set up your building, clients will flow, as in a place where it's busy, a place where you can do business, a place that is attractive, a place that is central, not only to your business, but also to the other people who will come and occupy the building to do the business. Probably the challenge that we had when we were starting the building is that, CBD, and especially this area, is a waterlogged area. So the biggest challenge I think that they were having by then was to do away with the water that was beneath the building. One of the challenges that I would say we faced, actually basically is not a challenge, but I would say is that, the building has been here for some time, and the competition around the CBD is high. And most of the buildings actually, they have come up. How to maintain your building aesthetic so that it remains unique, and so that it's always referral, and the new tenants are interested in coming and occupying the building is key. So how to maintain that actually, has been the challenge to beat the other buildings that are coming up. But when you look around, I think you have seen we are maintaining it despite the building being old. It is still unique in its own way. And I would say actually it's one of the strongest buildings we have in the CBD, and it's still one of the buildings which has its own unique systems When you look at the firefighting we have in the building, it is still unique in its own way. When you look at the backup system that we have in the building, it's unique comparing to most of the buildings that you see around. And the maintenance of the building is not that costly because actually of the materials that were used when we are bringing up the building. Parting short, I'll say that I&M is unique in its own way. And I&M is one of the buildings that I'll say it is modern. It was modern then, it is modern now, and it will continue being modern. There are many things actually that we have in the building which are unique in its own way. And if you walk around the building, you just see. When you go down actually in our basements, you see the kind of, the way we have done our basement. When you look at the firefighting equipment we have in the building, they are unique in their own way. When you look at the ground floor, you know, the canopy, the skylight. So it's a building that can be referral. So any tenant probably who is wishing, who is looking for a space to come and occupy and to come and do business, I'll refer them to I&M Tower. I&M Tower.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you.
Wow, amazing, just amazing. I mean, I personally feel like I have to invest in one of those things, and especially a timeshare in a hotel. So, funny story about hotel buying in timeshares. A friend of mine was in a hotel, and she told me that the police barged in and arrested the adjacent couple that was there because they were actually making inappropriate noises after receiving warnings from the manager. So, we set out to Nairobi to ask what they consider as appropriate or inappropriate noises, especially in open public spaces.
Well, in Islam, there is no specific time for the people to have sex. So the theological jurisprudence in Islam, scholars in Islam, they talk about this issue of having sex, the age of having sex or marriage. In Islam, there is no specific time, but the scholars talk about the right time, and they mention what is called in Islam as bulugh, which means maturity and puberty. That's the right time. If a child or a person reached the age of puberty or maturity, that's the right time when a person...
It's after marriage.
In Islamic Sharia is not allowed. So the consequences is sin. Because as a result of that, it is prohibited. So if a person committed means he gets sin. Yeah, that's in Islam.
No, is that the wages of sin is death, and sex before marriage is sin, is considered as idolatry regarding the Ten Commandments in Exodus. So yeah, there's a consequence. That's death.
There are some sexual behaviors or action which is not allowed in Islam. For example, like now adultery. In Islam, fornications, adulteries, homosexualities, lesbianisms, and also incest in Islam is not allowed, whereby two a brother and sister married each other. All that relationship and that sex behavior is not allowed in Islam.
I can tell you exactly sexual behaviors unlawful ones in the Bible, because in the Bible where incidents were mentioned regarding sex, I don't think It was well described how the sex went. All I can remember was he went in with her and they bore a child. Yeah. Pleasures, for us as young people, is something that gives us pleasure and makes us happy. And it has become a norm of the day to day, in as much as these things are not right.
To have children and also to fulfill your desire, because Islam commands us modesty and chastity for everybody, for the couples. So you cannot become modesty and chastity until you marry. You marry, and also your desire should be fulfilled. And also there are other reasons for the marriage, as like love and affections and many others. Not only having babies. Yeah.
I won't say they are considered to be more righteous, but what I would say is that it's their calling, is what they think they've been called for, and they are following exactly what the norms of the day in regards to what they have been called to do. And if they think that abstaining from sex or abstaining from marriage will give them that good relationship or that kind of communion they want with Christ, in a sense, that's their will. And I can't say they are right or wrong, because there are instances in the Bible where I remember Paul, who he didn't get married, and he was still moving and working on behalf of God, and things were still going on. Yeah.
In Islam, we don't, what we call celibacy is not allowed in Islam, because we don't believe in that. In Islam, we encourage marriage. Even the sheikhs in Islam, we have sheikhs and all the scholars in Islam, even the prophets. I can mention many prophets, they have wives. So in Islam, we don't have such we must marry, because as human being, you have desire. And that desire should be fulfilled. And it should be fulfilled through the marriage, through the legal way.
Well, because it's sacred, it's holy in a sense, because from the onset of creation, when God created Adam and Eve, before they could bear the first son, whom was Abel, this communion God set up with them was so sacred, so holy, and set apart. And I believe strongly when it comes to marriage and sex, it's something peculiar, something honorable to God, and something more dedicated.
Okay, only as I said, only in Islam is allowed sex through the marriage. Outside of the marriage, we call it many names, like adultery, like we only allow if the sex is through the marriage, because Allah has allowed us the sex, but through the marriage, and He forbidden outside of the marriage, because we are not because the marriage goes with many responsibilities. Sex goes with many responsibilities. Among the responsibilities, a person should be committed himself, married through the marriage, to carry that responsibility. But if we allow the sex outside of the marriage, many things can happen, because a man will not be ready to carry the responsibility.
Abstain from sex until you're married. We just have, we just have to say these things so that the more we sound them out, the more it's sounded in our ears, our subconscious will take it in. Today, abstaining. Today, it's the videos, the graphics, the TV, the radios, all of these things promote, the movies even promote sex, even before marriage and stuff like that. So we don't have any grip over them to say, don't do that. All we can say is abstain.
I encourage the marriage institution should be strengthened, and the younger generation should be ready to marry to strengthen the marriage institutions, because in our society, like African society also, we believe in marriage. We believe in marriage. So also the religions believe in marriage. So we have to encourage strengthen the marriage, the institutions. That's my advice to them.
Okay, intense. That information was so intense. But you know what I take away from this? That we actually need to up our game when it comes to reproductive and sex education, because remember, before any fun, make sure you're safe, man. Okay, things are real out there. You don't want to be feeling and get caught, boo-boo, okay? So keep it clean. Also, don't ever, put down yourself, your value system, your belief system. Don't veer away from you, because the experience of love should be also for you, if you catch my drift. But as we've had that conversation and that talk, let's take a slight break and we'll be back after this.
Behold the beauty that is Kenya, from its mountains down to its escarpments and beaches,
to the beautiful women that bear and nurture us,
to the warm hospitality of our people in our unique Makati culture,
and to the celebrations based upon us by our athletes.
We always find something to laugh about.
and a meal to bond over.
And despite many attempts, the enemies have failed to divide us. I love Kenya.
Naihenza Kenya.
Jalad Kenya.
Amazing Kenya.
Napenda Kenya.
Ahero Kenya.
So let's jump into our next topic. So it's cars. So we are going to actually take a look and learn about the cars we drive. Let's take a look at this clip.
Outer space. Fuck, I'm gonna keep this in the beginning too. Outer space. Fuck, I'm outer space. Fuck, I'm gonna keep this in the beginning too.
Hello and welcome to What Drives You, the show that gets you from point A to point B in the easiest, fastest and safest way, and sometimes even for free. Today's episode we are going to look at the V8. Now when you hear the V8 you probably think of this car, the Toyota Land Cruiser. Yes, it is indeed a V8, but the V8 is the engine configuration with 8 pistons aligned in a V shape. Now for today we have the Toyota Land Cruiser VX and we're going to do a review of it. Why? Because even the president drives one of this. Toyota Land Cruiser VX V8. Enjoy. We are in Gipiga town in Kiambu County where we stopped to ask some of the residents how much they think this car is. Unaweza sema hii gari ni
V8 nasikiaga ni ya inaweza patia around 8M.
8M. Okay. Ungekuwa na hiyo 8M ungenunua hii gari?
Siwezi patia.
Ungeinvest pesa 18 to 20M. Ukiwa na hizo 18 to 20M unaweza kununua hii gari? Na ukiwa na bilioni 8
Ninaiona ni kama 9 million.
ukiwa na hiyo 9 million unaweza kununua hii gari?
Siwezi kununua gari. Kwa 9 million niko na taxi zangu kadhaa hapa hivi.
na maybe later after miaka kadhaa sasa natulia na bibi yangu hapo nyumbani, hapo ndio naweza kuwa na gari kama hiyo.
Around 8 million? So if you had the 8 million, would you buy this car? Semi-local? We are joined by Nkakisha, who is an aspiring filmmaker and director. She's going to help us do a review, and if I can ask her, how much would you think this car is?
10 million.
10 million. And if you had that 10 million, would you buy this car?
No, I'd invest on travel.
Okay, so we're going to take the Land Cruiser out to Kisha as she helps us do a review while we talk about her life as a filmmaker. So Kisha, you've been doing certain things in the film industry. You have a level of experience. How would you describe the Kenyan film industry?
In terms of what?
In terms of, let's start with the quality.
Quality of our production?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we're upgrading. I love that we're upgrading with films like Supermodel and I've only seen Supermodel. That has really excited me. I love the quality, I love the narrative. Yeah, and I love that we are thinking outside Kenyan market.
Yeah.
But we need to make more content for Kenyan market.
Yeah. Who would you say is your favorite Kenyan actor?
My favorite Kenyan actor, that would have to be, I love Kamze Mwatela and I love Pascal Tokodi. But I feel like he needs to stop acting all these romantic bougie films and get into other roles. Like I love what he's doing with Kalamun Ndenga. Yeah, so you need to see him more gangster and more ruggedy other than a rich, cool, handsome boy.
Worldwide, who's your favorite actor?
Oh, this is so cliche.
If you have any, you can tell me your favorite director.
Yo, my favorite director died. Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah.
Who's your favorite Kenyan singer, musician?
What? Never thought about this.
Okay, worldwide.
I'm gonna say a gospel artist. Tasha Cobbs or Travis Green.
So we've driven for a bit. How do you like this car, Kisha?
It's comfortable, I can think, but I just know I wanna own a Defender because it's an old big machine.
Why would you own a Defender instead of Land Cruiser?
It's an old machine and they stopped being produced, yeah?
Yeah.
So that means the ones that are on the road are gonna get spoiled in a few. And by the time I'm owning one, there's gonna be a few of us. To town, how about you share a ride?
Yeah.
Like you be like, yo, nyumba kumi, so I'm driving to town today, we're gonna use my car. So 5 of you get into my car and the next person, the other person, I'm using my car. Like that way we'll have less cars in CBD and we won't have to have a van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Facebook and on YouTube, Frames by Kisha and the Soulful Sister.
Absolutely fascinating. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of information about the cars we drive, about it not driving you but you driving it, and what suits you. Just because you see a car somewhere randomly with a celebrity in it doesn't mean you need to purchase it and get it, because there's maintenance, there's fuel, there's all these things about how the engine works. Lord knows I did not know that information, and I'm so happy to have gotten that information, because here at Sunrise Select we choose to keep you informed and educated. So more about those cars, because one of my dream cars was the one on Knight Rider. Oh, the movie which I really love. And talking about movies, I'm actually about to bring our very own expert who can tell me more about this Mr. Elvis Kiari. Right, so previously we've just checked out our car segment and we've gotten so much information about cars. You know, what cars to buy, how to maintain your car, what car actually suits your lifestyle. I'm actually surprised at the information because I did not know half of this stuff, and I went to driving school. I have a license and I always had a dream of having the car in Knight Rider. I really loved it. I know you're not supposed to have it in it because I'm so celebrity is just in it, but I really do love the car.
So do I.
Actually, maybe you could tell us more because he is our expert on film and television.
Thank you, June. Good morning. Welcome to What's Trending in Film and TV. I am Elvis, your host.
So what's happening on TV and film?
Well, over the weekend, the new Lion King was released, and I must say that it was spectacular, and I want to spend every free second I have going back to watch it in the cinema.
Okay, so what's the difference between the original one and this one?
Well, first of all, this is live action. Secondly, I've had a lot of people saying, oh, CG, we have the VHS. The VHS is not popular anymore. The VHS was popular back when Maziwa Nyayo was popular. You should be ashamed of yourself. Thirdly, it has a stellar cast list from James Earl Jones to Donald Glover to Queen Bee herself, Queen Beyonce, who does a spectacular job in this movie. Fourth, it was actually based on Kenya. The story heads came before they made the original, and they based it on what they saw in this country. So why would I not support it?
Okay, so first of all, you're not going to hate on us 80s babies who have VHS. Secondly, other than that, other than the CGI effect, what about the album? I actually have the album. I found it was pretty decent.
No, the album was good, but the problem is there were no East Africans, and the reason there were no East Africans is because we do not work for what we deserve. Stop sulking, start working. Also, on that note, let's take a look at the Lion King trailer so that you can see exactly what makes it special.
Life's not fair, is it, my little friend? While some are born to feast, others spend their lives in the dark. Begging for scraps. Everything you see exists together in a delicate balance. While others search for what they can take, a true king searches for what he can give.
From one live-action Disney remake to another, it is official. The Aladdin movie is the highest-grossing film in Will Smith's career. Can you imagine that?
Wow, okay.
Yeah, that mess of a film that he gives one of his worst and most criminal performances. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, to be honest.
Really?
Really.
We're not in shade.com, we're on
No, we're not in
Select.
shade.com. It's just the truth.
Really, so I just personally felt at least Jasmine could have been Arabic.
Yeah, you see, some of those faults. If you think you're lying, take a look at the trailer and judge for yourself.
They're over there, get them! Stop, please! You three guys back there!
You stumbled upon an opportunity. I can make you rich. Rich enough to impress a princess.
What would I have to do?
There's a cave of wonders.
Bring me the lamp.
O great one who summons me, I stand by my oath, loyalty to wishes 3.
I'm kidding. Watch this.
Watch out! You done wound me up. You ain't never had a friend like me.
Now, from the tops of the week to the flops of the week, and this saddens my heart to say, but Toy Story 4 has not been received well by the critics or the audiences. And it is truly unfortunate. The story of Buzz and Woody continues to try to milk childhood nostalgia, and all it keeps doing is going flatlining.
Really?
Yeah, we're tired of it. Wanafaa kwanza toy zingine, hata huku za Kenya. We have the ones with pekeles and made from wire hangers.
No.
Why can't we use those?
No, I love Buzz and Woody.
So
what's else in Disney?
Actually, we have other upcoming releases from Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to some new kids movies, the Muppets movie, the Angry Birds movie, and every parent's favorite little girl, Dora the Explorer, Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Have fun taking your children to that. Also, we have the highly anticipated It Chapter 2 coming later this year. Yeah.
Really?
Really.
Everything horror.
Everything horror. It will be fantastic. Though I know that you may prefer to just sit down, Netflix and chill with some wholesome TV series.
No, not wholesome, just not horror. Horror doesn't work for me.
Okay. But speaking of TV, the show that we all love to hate has officially landed 32 Emmy nominations. 32. Game of Thrones, the series that literally started a petition for George R.R. Martin to rewrite that incredible exercise in mediocrity that was the finale, has been nominated 32 times for directing, writing, and 10 acting nominations. Can you believe that?
Wow. I mean, okay, then again, you know, in Hollywood, they have an elite group to choose who gets to win. It's not the fans, but I was still disappointed with the cliffhanger of Game of Thrones.
I was disappointed with everything from that season. But one thing that did not disappoint me, Stranger Things 3.
Really?
It has been amazing and a great follow-up to the past 2 seasons of one of the greatest coming-of-age series in history.
Wow.
The acting, the storyline, the CGI, the directing is all incredible. I'm telling you, just take one weekend off at home, chill, and watch it from start to finish. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Wow, this is a lot. Is there anything else in film and television that's happening?
From the creator of BoJack Horseman comes the first animated adult series for Amazon, Undone. But the series that everyone is talking about right now is Jordan Peele's new remake of The Twilight Zone. I have to tell you, it's completely fantastic and worth the moment to go and see it. Also, we have new series from Amazon, Modern Love, that stars Anne Hathaway. It's a rom-com anthology. We have What We Do in the Shadows, a vampire series with a comedic twist from Thor Ragnarok director Taika Waititi. And also, we have Black Monday, a dark comedy about the worst stock market crash in financial history. And unfortunately, that's all the time we have for the trending segment today. June, I hope to see you in the cinema. I also hope to see all of you in the cinema. Drinks on me, popcorn on me. I've been your presenter, Elvis. Until next time.
Well, sadly and unfortunately, the show has come to an end, but we have had such a massive amount of fun hanging out with you all. But before we leave, I would love to take this time to recognize the team that actually makes the show and does everything, makes it possible for us to interact, the true sunshines of the show, and that's the crew. So salutations to them. Again, I have been your host, June Jenga. Until next time, sayonara.